Hello guys, coming at you here with a devlog on my tactical RPG game. RPG game? That's not a thing. RP game or RPG? Select one. Okay, so I'm gonna go with RPG. So this is my tactical RPG. Title currently not decided, so it's an unnamed project as for now. I've been working on this for quite a while now, and I have uploaded a couple of videos on it, but this will be the first one with me talking over what is actually happening. So previously I just overlaid some music and I realized that the format is not the best and it is very unclear what is going on in some parts. So I thought it would be best to have a video where I talk things over. So we are greeted with this main menu, so we can select if we want to continue or do a new game. So we'll do a new game and let's go. Okay, so we are greeted with this very primitive placeholder UI screen. We have the different options where we can go. So we can embark, which means that we will go on a mission. Currently we can only do the first mission. Very creative naming. And we can also go to the market, or we can go to the inn, or we can go to the armory. So we can go to the market, and I have shown this in previous videos, but I figure I can show it again real quick. So here we can buy and sell items. Of course, that's what you do at the market, at least that's what I do. And we can try selling some things. You can see that we gain the gold. And if we want to buy something, we can actually see that they are sold by different persons. Okay, so this is interesting. Also, duplicates should be removed in the future. I'm sorry, this should not be multiple instances of Iron Sword. Of course, it should only be listed as one. But what you can see to the right here is that currently there is no description. What you also can see is that they are sold by different people. So these are people that you have recruited into your camp, your base camp, so to say. So whenever you recruit more people, which you do by either doing main missions or by doing side missions, you can get new items at market. So this is interesting. So for those people who wants to do side missions, they will be rewarded with recruiting new people into the base camp, which in turn will sell new items to those players, and also the player will be able to interact with them. And they might even give you some foreshadowing on future events or stuff like that. So interesting interactions. So I'm going to go ahead and basically sell everything I own because I think everything is shit, and I will buy some swords. Okay, very good. Then we have the armory, which is... Okay, I will show you a brief look at the armory, which looks like crap, but here you can equip items to different units, whatever, and you can also select which abilities they should have and which classes they should be. So this is going to be reworked real soon. Even the entire class system I am thinking of reworking, because the way it works right now is like games like Final Fantasy Tactics, where you can select the classes for your different units. And changing the class was meant to change your appearance and change what abilities you have access to, and unlocking new classes was meant to be achieved by leveling up and gaining certain levels in these classes would unlock new classes. But I then realized that actually that's not what I want. What I want this game to be focused on is character development and story. So if I separate the gameplay mechanics, so the abilities and what the units have access to in terms of skills and magic, if I separate that entirely from their character in the story, then I can't really tell an interesting story regarding what they do, or their profession, or their occupation. So by removing the class system, I can instead define abilities that are unique for each unit that also make sense with their character. But this by itself would be kind of boring, I thought. So my new idea is to actually implement a system very similar to the materia system in games like Final Fantasy VII, if you've played that, or like the quartz system in the Legend of Heroes series, if you have played that. I don't know if you guys are into JRPGs, but I am, and they are so for those of you who are not, I would explain how they work. So by equipping certain gems, or whatever they will be called, into your thingy, you will gain new stats, and along with new stats you might even gain a new ability. So you will have these different slots which you unlock as you level up, and alongside these slots and the abilities you gain from slotting gems into these slots, you will also have character specific abilities which will be tied to story beats. So whenever something happens and your character develops in the story, he may also unlock new abilities which are specific only to that character. So this will give characters defined roles and things they are good at, things they are bad at. Characters will also have natural stat growths, which are different for each character. So one character might have a larger aptitude to be a supportive unit, because he has more intelligence or whatever. But of course, if you want, you can change his gems to be whatever you want the character to be. So this gives you the freedom of customization, alongside a system that allows for to display character development and character personality also in battle, which is exactly what I want. So as I mentioned, I want this game to be focused a lot on character development and story. So this is why you see the two icons here in the middle, which is a system which I have not really explained so much. But these different icons, buttons, will of course be replaced in the final product. So I want to create some sort of overworld or something, so the market will actually be displayed by a sprite or a picture of a actual market. And you can go to the market, and as you go to the market, you will, alongside this UI, you will also be presented with a nice background image and maybe some special music which represents that you are in the market. And once you are in the market, you can not only buy and sell, is the idea. So the idea is that you can go to all of these different locations, and the characters will be on different locations at different points in the story. So these might be characters that you have in your party, or they might be characters that are only NPCs. So but that you can go and talk to, and they will give you some information about themselves. They may talk about events that are happening currently in the world, and just sort of build the world more and more. So that's what these icons represent. It's that these two characters are currently present at the inn, and this will not always be the case. Say that we go on this first mission. Well, now the situation has changed, and these characters might have gone to another place. So previously they might have been at the inn, but something happened, so which led to them going to the market or something like that. And of course there will be more places than just these three, but these are the three basic ones I decided to implement first. So the way this will work is that you will then go and visit each of any of this place. So we will try visiting the inn so we can see what I mean with these character interactions. So the inn has no further functionality, despite being able to talk to the persons who are currently present here, which will be the case for all of the locations once I have developed them further. So you can see that we have two people present here. So we have Randy and we have Sandy. Very creative naming. So here we see Randy has a heart beside him actually. That's interesting. What could that mean? So that means that Randy has a bonding event available. So that's another mechanic that feeds into this character development thing. And bonding events will only be available for characters which are in your party and you can use in battle. So unfortunately not for every NPC. While it would be interesting, it would be way too much work. Kind of impossible. For me, since I am doing this solo. But so the idea is that when he has a bonding event available, we can go to him and we can talk to him, and we can choose whether or not we should spend a bonding point on him. So bonding points are something that renews whenever you reach certain story beats, and when they renew, there will also be a number of bonding events available, which you can choose which ones you want to participate in. So you have to select certain characters for each playthrough which you want to bond with. You should choose your favorite characters, of course, is the idea. So the case might be that you get 3 new bonding events, you get 2 bonding points. So you have to select 2 characters you want to increase your bonding level with. So increasing the bonding level will have gameplay benefits, and it will also unlock new events in the future, depending on how much you have progressed with that character. So this all feeds into the notion of character development, which is one of my favorite parts of video games, alongside with story. And that's why I want to focus on it so much, and I believe it's also a underutilized aspect. So like storytelling in video games, well, I don't think stories can be good if you don't develop the characters. So that's my take. So we can try talking to Randy and see how it looks. So all of this is new since the last video. So all of the dialogue UI is actually revamped. Looks much better this time around, I think. But of course the portraits you see here are very placeholder. They were something I found in my assets folder lying around somewhere, probably from some demo scene of some obscure asset that I perhaps am not even using this project. I don't know. I searched for portrait and I found. So these will be replaced with what I'm thinking right now is sort of half body portraits, and not just a big face, because I want to show off more of the character's personality. So what kind of weapon does this character use, or what kind of clothes does this character wear? So these are things that I want to show in the portraits. So as I mentioned, currently we just have a big face, and it's perhaps not the prettiest face, but yes, it's placeholder as mentioned. So we can talk to Randy, see what he has to say. Oh, okay, so Randy was just sitting here relaxing, it appears, and he heard there were some bandits here. Okay. And he even heard what they had to say. Okay, so this is all very placeholder dialogue. Very generic stuff, I know. This is just to test out the systems. Anyway, we continue. So now we come to the point where we can choose whether or not we want to bond with Randy and increase our bonding level with him, which, like I mentioned, will give us gameplay benefits and unlock new events in the future. So we can choose here yes or no. So let's go and hang out with Randy, increase our bonding level with him. Okay, so Randy wants to go fishing. I think that sounds great, so we will go fishing. Let's go. Okay, so that's, as I mentioned, placeholder dialogue. Not finished at all, but yes, it's the system is working. I just wanted to show it off real quick, and yes. Okay, so moving on, we see that we have another character here, which was this character named Sandy. So Sandy has this little hand beside her instead of the heart, which is sort of an indication for you to go talk to her. And what this particular indication means is that Sandy has a request for you. She wants your help with something. So let's go and talk to Sandy and see what she has to say. What does she need? Okay, so if we go and talk to... Oh, sorry. So it was the wrong name there. So it said Randy, it should say Sandy. I'm sorry. Okay, but so Sandy, ignore the R here, it should say Sandy. So she has a request for us, and there are some bandits outside of town apparently. And she wants them gone, and we can choose whether we want to accept this or not. So let's accept this for now. And she wants us to get back to her once we are finished. Okay, we can do that. So now you see this hand turn gray, which means that she is waiting for us to complete the request. And furthermore, if we go and check our missions table, we see that a new mission has been added, so this side story here. So there are also a number of improvements to the combat part of the gameplay. and I'm thinking I should maybe do this side story so I can show them off a little. So here he is doing his stupid little routine, which he always does, because I was trying out cutscene transitions. So you can imagine that he will perhaps do something more intelligent in the future than just run around. So the improvements I mentioned, we can start with the UI improvements, which for you perhaps might not be obvious, because it's not a huge overhaul. I have improved little details here and there, but I think each small addition adds up and makes the UI look much better than it did before. So for example, this action wheel here is new. So the icons are the same, but everything else is revamped, and I think it looks much better this way. Much more clean, not as noisy, and yeah, very clear what you can do. If we go and press on the skills button, we can bring up our skills menu, which is also revamped, and this looks tons better than it did before. So previously it looked like basic Unity UI crap thing. So now you actually can read some about the spells. You can get the information is presented very clearly to you. You can read what the spell does. You can read what range it has. How does it work? Okay, this one is single target. We can see this one has is a melee attack and only has an area of 1, which means the area of effect is 1. So if we try it out, you can see, okay, so the area of effect is in fact 1. I was not lying. Okay, so there are a number of other improvements. One of them is the AI now knows how to work in stairs, which it didn't before. The way I implemented this was that I have the AI actually compute the best movement in a coroutine. So this runs concurrently, and whenever we come to a new frame, we will yield, which means we will hand over the CPU time to someone else, and that way we can do tons and tons of computations, but we spread them out over multiple frames, meaning that there will be no hiccup in the game, frame rate wise. So they are constantly computing what is the best course of action I can do right now, even when we are just sitting here doing nothing, because that's like the majority of the time. If you see, the CPU is so quick, so the majority of the time the AI will just be sitting and waiting for you to do something. And during this time we might as well compute what moves are the best for us right now. So that's how the AI works currently. It's currently not the smartest or most interesting AI. These guys only have one ability, one basic attack. Of course this will be changed in future, which will in turn increase the complexity of the amount of moves they can execute, which probably means that I will have to go back to the algorithm and change it further so that we can do it in time. I don't want the computation to compute for every single enemy. I don't want it to take several minutes. It needs to happen quickly, 10 seconds maybe, something like that. So I will probably need to go back and make further adjustments to this AI algorithm. But at least now the AI knows that even if I can't reach the player units, so even if he can't reach us, well, he won't just stand here because he thinks it's the closest. He will actually move here, because that's the closest, in fact, because he needs to go down the stairs. So now he understands that. And not only he, also this guy and all these guys. So that's another improvement, and there are actually more than that, believe it or not. What is new also since the last video is this break meter down to the right. So this is something that you share across your entire team. The break meter fills up once you do something that has a net positive result for your team, so attacking an enemy, healing a unit, whatever, something like that. It will give you a little bit of break meter. So once this break meter fills up, you will gain a button prompt down here, and this button prompt you can use at any time, when it's your turn, when it's the enemy's turn, whatever. The only thing that happens when you use it, or not the only thing I should not say, but the thing that happens when you use it is that when the next turn starts, it actually doesn't start. The game says, hold on, and you get to select which one of your units should actually take the next turn. And you can choose any of your units that are alive, and then that unit will instead be the one to take the next turn. So even if it says that the enemy is up next, you can actually attack with your unit. Okay, so now you think it's the enemy's turn, but you realize you can break. So then you break, then it's your turn again, and you get to select which of your units should take that turn. So quite interesting, but perhaps not super interesting. What I think makes this system to be really interesting, it's in combination with the other new addition, which are these turn bonuses. So we can see here that currently it's the mage's turn, and then it is this guy's turn, and then it is the knight's turn. But the knight's turn is something special, because you see that he has a little bonus here, which is the critical bonus. So these are randomly generated. Whenever you are put back into the end of the queue, you will randomly generate a turn bonus, and most of the time you gain none, which makes sense, but sometimes you get one, and that feels good. However, your enemy might also get a turn bonus, so not being able to do anything about it would feel pretty bad, right? So that's why I implemented this break meter alongside with the turn bonus mechanic, which means that whenever an enemy is up, and you can see that he has some bonus that you would like critical. Of course you want a critical, it's always better than to not have a critical. So then whenever an enemy has a critical, and the enemy is up to do the next turn, you can do the break if you have filled up the break meter. Which means that you can steal his turn bonus, and you can make some really clutch plays which feels really good, really interesting, and really fun. Most importantly, fun. That's the keyword here. So I am very proud of this mechanics. In combination, the whole gameplay that arises from it is very fun, very interesting, and hopefully I can show you how it works right now if we start playing a bit. So currently the break meter mechanic fills up really quickly, because for testing purposes basically. So let's see if we can try out this critical strike. So right now all of the units share the same spells. Again, testing purposes. We actually missed. That can happen even if you have critical. Perhaps I should change that, I don't know. Maybe you should be guaranteed a hit when you get a critical. That can also be interesting. So we will just keep on playing. I will keep on playing until I get a nice turn bonus, and until I steal that turn bonus. And hopefully I can talk meanwhile about something. So another thing that is new, or things that are new, are that there are actually a number of new animations that have gone in, and effects. So this particular one, which is the Ultra Strike, so like a little explosive strike, this one's seen previously. Yes, can show it off again. But this animation is actually new, which is the... Oh right, I equipped her with the sword. Okay, I can't use that. Okay, so because I equipped her with the sword, I changed her attack ability, which then means that she can't use her bow attack, which was the new one I wanted to show you. Anyhow, we can keep playing. So this guy can go stand over here. I have more new animations to show you as well, other than the bow effect, so I think we are fine. So for example this one, which is called the Force Strike, and if you read what it does, it attacks the target and it pushes them away from you, and it has a neat little animation, neat little effect associated with it. So let's try it out. Okay, so you can see you push him as far as you can until he hits an obstacle, in this case the enemy. What's interesting about that ability is that you can actually push people down these vertical levels. So for example, if a unit is standing up here or up here somewhere, we can use the Force Strike to actually push him off the edge, and that feels really fun and rewarding to do as well when we try to do it. Hopefully we get the chance sometime soon. So now I think our chance is here. Okay, we can at least push him down the stairs. Perhaps not as fun as pushing him off the ledge, but it is something. He will also die. Okay, we missed actually. So these are the kind of things that are always subject to tuning, because ideally you don't want to miss too often, because that becomes boring. Anyhow, we have now arrived at the point where we can do something with this brake system. So you can see that the next unit which is up is this guy, and you can see that he has a free skill associated with his turn. Currently it is our turn, and of course the ideal scenario for us is that he does not get to execute this free skill, that he does not get to use it. So we would actually like to use it, and we can also see that the brake meter has filled up, and that means that we can activate it at any time, and on the next turn we will get to select which unit should take the turn. So in this case we can actually activate the brake already now, and you get this indication that the brake is activated, which means that, as you will see now, we can begin by killing, I don't know, let's kill this guy. Okay, so now you see that we are braking, and we can choose which unit should take the next turn. You can see that the bonus associated with this turn is the free skill. So I would like a free skill to go with my archer. So now, despite we previously acted, we can actually act again. So I stole his bonus right there. I can even kill him. Like, that's humiliating for him. And we missed again. So the RNG is not on our side today, unfortunately. But yes, that's the system. And you can see that there arise some interesting gameplay moments and interesting decisions for the player, which was my goal with this system to begin with. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the development blog. A lot of new things since last time, and my video schedule was kind of offset because I was on vacation for a week. Whatever, there's still a lot of new stuff in. Hopefully you enjoy the format where I talk over these things. If you have any feedback on the format or what I go over, what I'm speaking about, anything you would like to see added to the game, whatever, please leave suggestions in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Also, as you have seen by now, I can't do art, so especially 2D art I'm useless at. I can do some 3D art, but when it comes to 2D I am basically useless, which is why I use this little guy for everything right now. So if you know anyone which is interested in working on a project like this, either for compensation or for some sort of rev share or whatever, because I have sort of a limited budget, but still, if I like the art, I would be interested to at least talk with you, and maybe we can come to an agreement about something. I don't know. Anyhow, if you do art, or if you know anyone who does art, please leave a comment, and yeah, see you next development blog. I will try to do it in 2 weeks. Alright, see ya guys.